Thanks for joining me as we come into Sukhasana, this easy seated pose. I want you to take your hands behind your back and then just feel yourself lift your sternum up and out of your pelvic bowl, and then just release the hands and just take a moment here. Close the eyes if you're comfortable and just settle into this space. Keep the heart lifting. Just allow yourself to relax. Notice, are you tipping forward or are you keeping your shoulders stacked over your hips? Softening the face, the tongue, the jaw. My theme this month is about change. Change is happening to us now every single day with this coronavirus. And so taking this time out of your day to come onto your mat is so important. To just relax, to let go, disconnect. And with your eyes closed, I want you to draw the awareness in. Our mind likes to be active, so let's keep returning to our breath, feeling the rise and fall of the chest, moving the air through the nose. What can you let go of in this moment? Letting go of all that came before and all that came after. If you can imagine your thoughts floating away on a cloud. Whether the eyes are open and closed, release the hands in front and walk yourself forward just slightly, and then send your elbows down and let the head and neck relax. Tap into any sensations you are feeling. It may be a lot of tightness in the hips. If getting to the floor onto your elbows is not accessible, stay up onto your hands or take a handy dandy block and send it underneath the elbows. But just go heavy here, and I want you to breathe deep, Ujjayi breathing. That inhale where we send the air to the back of the throat, breathing in deep, and then exhale that's nice and slow as we press all the air out of the body, pulling that belly in tight. Softening in the shoulders, softening in the head and neck. Give me 2 more deep breaths here. When you're ready, rise up to change legs. When you change legs, reestablish that long spine. Push into the fingertips, lift your heart up nice and tall. Then release the hands in front. Slightly walk the hands forward, not enough that your sit bones come off the mat. Keep those down and either stay on your hands or lower onto the forearms, driving the forearms into the mat. Let the head and neck relax. What sensations are you feeling when you've switched legs? Is there tightness in the hips that you can exhale through and create a softening? The belly still stays drawn in. We want our core engaged through the entire practice. Again, let's take 2 more deep breaths. let's walk our hands back into the body. And just take a moment to turn to either side of your mat. And as you do this, go ahead and lay yourself all the way back. And just let your legs go out nice and long. Then imagine you're taking your right leg into tree. So you're going to bring the leg in and then send it out on a slight angle. Pull your core to the floor. Take your hands to your hips. Notice, are your hips rolling? And if so, pull that left hip back to the mat and then slowly hover that leg. Draw the big toe in like tree. Send the leg on a slight angle and then slowly lower to hover. 2 more times. Draw the knee in like tree. But in the entire time you're doing this, stay connected to those hips, to that pelvic. 1 more time. Hold. Then slowly lower the leg to hover. Hold. And release that right foot down. Let's take it on the left. Draw the left leg in like tree. Send the leg out on a slight angle. Notice, did you roll your hips to the left? And if so, readjust that pelvic floor and then leg to a hover so your heel isn't touching down. Draw the left leg in like tree. Extend on a slight angle and slowly lower down. 2 more times. Draw in. Extend on a slight angle. Lower to hover. Draw in. Slight angle, hold. Adjust that pelvic if you noticed it shifted. Hover and hold. And release that leg to the earth. Good. Let's go ahead and bend our knees. And as we come into this bridge work, place your hands flat on the earth. I want you to inhale and lift your hips up to the sky. Exhale, release those hips back down. So inhale, hips lift. Exhale, hips lower. And we're going to add the arms into this. So go ahead and press those hips to the sky and float them back to the earth. Now, add in those arms. Hips up on an inhale. When you exhale, extend the arms over the head as your hips come back down to the earth. Inhale, press to rise. Exhale, release a nice long stretch. 2 more times. We finish with our fingertips stretching out long, then take them to your temples. And on an exhale, I want you to crunch up into a ball, reach to your heels, and inhale, come back down to the earth. Exhale, roll into that ball, reaching towards your heels and come back down. Let's do this 4 more times. Our core is our powerhouse, generating a lot of energy from these muscles. So keeping them nice and strong. Let's go ahead and release, but bring our knees over our hips. And as we extend the left leg out, bring your left shoulder over to the right knee, and then switch over right shoulder to left knee. So as you reach through the legs, one option is to tap the toes down instead, but whatever feels best for you is what is most important. Continue to move through these twists. 4 more. Last 2, last 1. Come back to center and release. Go ahead and take your right heel to the sky and cross that ankle over the thigh. And as we draw that knee away from our bodies, we can leave our hands on the mat. We can take our foot to the floor or reach around and through, deepening this stretch. Giving you options, what feels best for you today. Let's release the leg, press your left heel to the sky, cross the ankle over the thigh, and again, foot down, up in the air, or reaching around and through. You know your body best. You are the student of your body, so what feels best for you today? As we release, let's hug those shins into the body. Now if you're protecting a back, feel free to roll to the side and press yourself up, or take 3 rolls from the tailbone to the shoulder blades. So rocking up and back, up. And on that last one, take a rock up and hold. And as you come into this hold, I invite you to lift your shins, drop the shoulders down. So Navasana prep. And again, if you need a little more assistance, lean back into the hands instead of holding the hamstrings, or reach to the heels, lifting the heart up. We'll see this later in class, doing a little power flow later. So go ahead and release and make our way into table pose, coming to all fours. So entering into all fours, opening the hands up, shoulder width apart, knees hip width apart, and let's move through some cat and cow. Exhale, round into your cat pose, really pull that belly button to the spine. And inhale to cow, arch the back, lift the forehead and tailbone. So continue to move, breath with movement. I want you to take this 2 more times. So you come back into that table pose. I invite you to move into puppy pose. Walk the forearms out. Release the chest and forehead towards the earth. Press into the palms to rise up. Walk the hands back into the body. And from here, let's float our hips to our heels for child's pose. If this is not an option, you can take half child's pose or go back into that puppy pose. But walk your arms out nice and long, Utthita Balasana, extended child's pose. Feel yourself lengthen from your tailbone through the top of your head. And as you take this nice big inhale, walk your hands over to the left side of your mat as far as you can go. This deep twist, pulling your right ribs towards your left thigh. Let your head and neck relax. Inhale, bring the hands back to center. Exhale, walk them all the way over to the right. And again, this big side stretch. Breathing deep into those left ribs. Inhale, walk the hands back to center. Reaching nice and long. And let's float into kneeling plank. Inhale, forward, chest over thumbs. I want you to pull that belly button into the spine and open the sternum. Be careful of rounding. We want to open the sternum like our heart is shining towards the front edge of our mat. And just feel here, and then turn those toes under. Float the knees off the mat, and again, pull the chest open. Pull the back of your ribs to the sky. Slowly lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Unlock your toes and push your pelvic into the mat as you inhale up into cobra. Elbows bent, shoulders hugging in and back. And then slowly release back down. From here, point the toes but lift the thighs. Push your pelvic into the floor. And then lift into cobra. So for some of us, we get this different sensation once we lift those knees off the mat. And then slowly return. Some of us will go onto our knees, otherwise turn the toes under, lift the thighs, come into plank or kneeling plank, rising up, open the chest, and then float into down dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a few moments to pedal the heels, maybe bend the knees and straighten the legs. What is it that your body will need today? Pressing firm between that thumb and index finger, we want to make sure we're firing up the arms while we're in this pose. Down dog or child's pose are active rests. I invite you at any time to move into these active rests. So let's bend our knees and look to our thumbs.
Make our way towards the top of our mat and release into Uttanasana, forward fold. Head hangs like a chandelier. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten that back, open the heart. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. You are welcome to bend your knees at any degree. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Let's reverse up to the sky. Reach as tall as you can. And exhale the hands to the heart center. I don't know if you can see me. I'm going to have to move. I thought you could. Hold on 1 second. Let me adjust the camera. I'll move this back a little bit more now that I'm standing. All right. Well, my head's cut off. So let me move it back a little bit more. That's what happens when you're live trying to figure everything out, right? Oop. All right. All right, hopefully you can see me now. Here we go. Let's take sun salutation A. Inhale, rise up to the sun. Exhale, fold to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Fingertips to shins, flattening the back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend those knees and step back to plank or kneeling. We lower crocodile or half. Lift up dog or cobra. Hinge back. Hold down dog. 4 deep breaths. On your next inhale, look to your thumbs and step forward to those hands into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rise up to the sky. Hands lower to the heart. Again, rise to the sun. Fold to the earth. Halfway lift. Then fold. As you bend your knees, make your way to plank or kneeling. Shift shoulders before lowering. Crocodile, half, or relax. Scoop, up dog, cobra, or even take a baby cobra. Hinge back. Hold your down dog. Bend our knees, look to our thumbs, make our way back into that fold. Again, rise to the sky, hands into heart. We reach to the sun, fold to the earth. Halfway lift, and fold. Make your way to plank or kneeling, lower crocodile or half. Scoop to the sun, hinge back, hold. This is an opportunity to really listen to the body. As you make your way towards the hands, rise halfway, then fold. Reverse up to the sun, hands into heart. For the next 2 rounds, I want you to take this on your own. You're not going to hear me, so I didn't go anywhere, but just follow your breath. If you're on the same flow as me, we have 1 more round.
arrive back at the top of the mat, just take a moment to stand tall. Feel the soles of the feet rooted into the earth. You may feel the heart rate has gone up. The breath has become a little deeper. So just allow yourself to take a moment of ease. We can release and stand tall in Tadasana, lifting the heart, relaxing the shoulders. Take a moment to anchor, and I'm going to turn and face you. Giving yourself this half dancer pose, and you can extend the arm up to the sky. Lifting the heart. From here, go ahead and release that left foot back. And as you take a nice big step back, reach up to the sun, crescent or high lunge. And then interlace the fingers behind the back. And instead of letting your back take over, pull your ribs in as you pull the elbows back. Drive out your left heel as you bend into this right knee. And then slowly release the arms outside the hips and just bow forward into this airplane lunge. And then inhale, rise up, let your fingers touch behind the ears. Exhale, bow over that thigh. Inhale, rise up, belly in tight. Exhale, bow. 3 more like this. Inhale, feel yourself rooting through your feet, pulling your belly towards your spine. We don't want to load the back. 1 more time. Holding here, releasing the hands to the earth, floating into 3-legged dog. Let's set up for warrior 1, but without our hands rising. So bring your right foot forward, send your left heel down. Set the feet up first and make sure there's space between our heels so we're not on a tightrope. So heel toe that right foot over, place your right hand inside your foot. Now, imagine your feet can't move and you're going to go into down dog. So maybe you walk your hands a little bit further forward and let the head release. Hug the right hip in and back. I want you to still bend into this knee. So think of 2 poses together. Warrior 1 legs with down dog arms. As you walk your left hand back in, pivot your right heel to the sky and open up into twisting lunge, sending that right hand to the sun, pushing the floor away, squeezing the inner thighs towards each other. As we release the hand to the earth, rise back into 3-legged. Flex the foot, bend the knee, let the hip roll open. Keep your right shoulder aiming to your left heel. And let's meet in warrior 2. Sweep the foot to the hands, rising up, opening hips and shoulders. Reach long like you can touch the opposite sides of the room. Soften the shoulders, open the heart. Rising up with the toes, reaching to the sun, bending back into the knee. Rise up, your little vinyasas here. Rise up. Take this 2 more times. And hold in your warrior 2. Making your way into reverse warrior. Stay strong. I know this right leg may be talking to you right now, but let your hand rest gently on the leg or holding onto the hip, or maybe even a little Shiva Mudra, pressing the knee open. Let's extend the leg into this reverse triangle and windmill down to a low lunge. From your lunge, step into plank. From plank, I want you to lift your right foot off the mat, rise into 3-legged,
Come forward, bring your right knee to your right elbow, then lower it down to your wrist. Rise back up. Knee to elbow. Now this can be done with your left knee on the mat. Lower down to wrist. Rise back up. Again, elbow, wrist, rise, and let's take a stretch here. Elbow, wrist to the floor. Release your hips, but keep your left knee off the mat as you inhale and lift the heart. Get this big, juicy stretch into that left hip flexor. So if your knee dropped down, keep your toes turned under, pull the knee away from the mat. And then meet me in plank. Open the heart. And either take your power vinyasa or stay in plank. Lower to crocodile, lift to up dog, hinge back, hold down dog. Come on up onto your tiptoes and look to your thumbs. Make your way to your hands, but bring your feet together, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up, and let's sit in chair with the hands at the heart. Weight is in the heels. As you take a twist, bring the right elbow towards the left thigh, pushing the left hand into the right. And let's little rock and roll here. Inhale, peel your heels off the mat. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, lower. 2 more times. Last one. Can you hold up on your toes and lower into toe balance? If not, stay in your twisting chair. Take one more power vinyasa. Release the hands, step or hop into plank. Either stay in plank or lower to crocodile. Lift up dog. Hinge back. Hold down dog. As we make our way into Malasana, come onto your tiptoes, walk your feet outside your hands, and either come down low in those hips for some of you. For others, you're going to be up on your forearms or even up on your hands, whatever feels best for you. Heart lifts, elbows press into knees. As we come into this narrow straddle, we can heel toe the feet back onto the mat. Inhale, rise up. Draw your left knee up. And to work our Utthita Hasta Padangustasana, I'll turn and face you. You can take your peace sign fingers to the big toe, extend the toe out, or use a towel. Today I'm going to show how to use the towel. So you can take the towel to the ball of your foot and extend out. Maybe the knee has to stay bent. You can hold the towel with the left hand, bring the right hand to the hip. Again, open the chest. Arm can lift to the sky. Let's take a twist. Bring the right hand to the towel. Extend the left arm back. And either look to the side or over your shoulder to your thumb. Remember when we were laying on the ground and I asked you to watch out for your hips? Make sure your left hip is pulling to the floor. As you release, release the belt, stand tall. As you stand nice and tall, you're going to anchor into your left foot, and I'll turn and face you. As you anchor into your left foot, you're going to bring the right leg up and come into this balance. And if I already did this leg with you the last time, then switch legs. But whatever feels right, push your pelvic forward, lift the heart up. A little baby dancer here. So I'm going to turn back to the side of my mat. And let's release this right foot back and come into crescent or high lunge. Finding yourself rooting into your feet first. Your feet are your foundation. We build up from there. Then take your fingertips behind your head and pull the elbows back. If you feel like you're arching, I need you to pull your ribs in so you don't load the back. Once you find your power, let's do a little flow here. Bow into this little half airplane lunge, and then come back up, fingertips behind head. Bow forward halfway, and then rise up. 3 more times. Rise and hold. Then as you release your arms, release into this 3-legged dog. From 3-legged, let's make our way into warrior 1 feet. Send the left foot forward, right heel down. So our hands are pretty much straddling our foot. And I want you to look at your feet. If you're lined up on a tightrope, move the left foot over. Then take your left hand inside and pull that left hip back. Either stay here, only walk the hands out a few inches, or walk them forward like you are going to go into down dog, and let the head and neck relax. Pressing firm between the thumb and index finger to fire up your upper arms. Hugging the hips in towards the midline. Think of your hips in this one going up and back like you do in down dog. Then take your right hand to the center. Peel your right heel off the mat. Twisting lunge, float that hand up to the sky. Be careful of collapsing into your right hand. Push into those legs. As you release your hand to the earth, sweep into 3-legged dog. Flex the foot, bend the knee, let that hip roll open, but keep your left shoulder aiming to your right heel. And let's float into warrior 2. Left foot forward, right heel down, rising to open. Soften the shoulders, lift the heart. Then let's rise up and bend. Rise up and bend. 3 more. As you settle back into warrior 2, hold and stretch into reverse warrior. Stretch away from that left knee. Nice big reach here. The option to move into Shiva Mudra or give your back a little more support. But wherever you're at, straighten the leg for this reverse triangle. And then windmill down to a low lunge. Step into plank. Opening the chest. Shining the heart forward. And let's pick that left foot up. Bring the knee to the elbow, down to the wrist, float into 3-legged dog. Come forward to plank and hover. Knee to elbow, lower to the wrist, back out to hover. Or that 3-legged dog, it's up to you. Forward, down, out and hover. Here comes the stretch. Forward, wrist, down to the mat. But instead of releasing this right knee, keep the toes turned under, knee off the mat, push into the fingertips and get that big stretch. Release, step into plank. Stay here or power vinyasa. Lower to crocodile, lift up dog, hinge back, hold down dog. Then come up onto those tiptoes, make your way to your hands, into forward fold, and then heel toe the feet together. Inhale, rise to the sky. Exhale to sit in chair, hips go back and down. Make sure your knees are even and they stay behind your toes. Take an inhale here. Exhale, left elbow to right thigh, and then push the left hand into the right, or right hand into left. If you'd like, take that little lift and lower. Heels lift, they come down. Rise up and come down. 3 more. On the last one, stay up or down, it's up to you. If your heels are up, try to lower into toe balance. Wherever you're at, meet me in plank And either stay here in plank or chaturanga, lower to crocodile, lift to up dog, hinge back, hold down dog. Again, for malasana, take your feet outside your hands and either drop the hips down, come up to the forearms, to the hands, whatever feels best. Heart lifts instead of sinking. Let's make our way into Uttanasana, forward fold. Heel toe the feet back to the center of the mat. Inhale, rise up. And on an exhale, anchor into the left leg, bring the right knee up. So I'll turn and face you. If you want to use your towel, use your towel. Extended hand to big toe or peace sign fingers to your big toe. Send the foot out. Relax the shoulders, lift the chest. You can send the hand up to the sky. Remember when we were laying back and we were doing that tree pose into the leg extension? What were the hips doing? And I need you to keep this right hip pulling to the earth. If you want, take a twist, left hand to the towel or the outer blade of your foot, right arm reaches back. Lift the heart. Spin the ribs, not the hips. This right hip is pulling to the earth. As you release to stand tall at the top of your mat, inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Take a moment here, holding on to the elbows. Then when you release your hands, step back into a nice deep lunge. And if you need your blocks, you're going to use them and frame your foot. Inhale, straighten the leg for pyramid. Keep your right heel off the mat. So I step back with my right foot. I'm anchoring on my left. It doesn't matter which way you took it. And then bend back into the knee. Sweep into three-legged dog. And as you flex your foot, bend the knee, let the hip open. And this is now pigeon. Knee to the left, foot to the right. Release knees, unlock toes. Lift the heart. And again, while you're here, if you want to turn the back toes under, take the knee off the mat. It's just a different sensation. Last time our heel was under our body. This time our heel is out to the side. And if you want to float down onto your elbows, push into the elbows, let the head and neck relax. So either right knee is lifted or it is down on the earth. Walk the hands back into the body. Release the knee if it was up off the earth. Sit to the side, bring the legs around. Now remember I said you were going to see boat pose later in our class, and here it is. We're going to lift our shins and reach to the heels. Now some of you may need your hands behind your back as you press your heels out and in. Otherwise, here we go. Inhale out and in. Now you can touch back to your shoulder blades going a little deeper, or you can stay with this halfway. It's up to you, but I need you to give me two more. Then cross the ankles, roll through. Meet me in plank and either stay here or chaturanga. Make your way into forward fold. We were cupping our elbows in front. This time I want you to cup your elbows behind. When your hands release, step the left foot back into a lunge. If you already did the lunge on this side the last time, then go ahead and switch legs. Make sure you are on railroad tracks, hip width apart for those feet. Use blocks if you need them to straighten the leg. This pyramid variation without our left heel being on the earth. Come back into your lunge and sweep into three-legged. From three-legged, come into your hip opener. Notice what the shoulders are doing. And then meet me in Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. Pigeon pose, one leg pigeon. And again, when we settle our hips heavy, if you need a block underneath the right sit bone, but watch your left leg. Can you lift the knee off the mat, bringing a little more power into the stretch? And then some of us will come onto our forearms and release the head and neck. What do you need in this pose? A little more activation or a little more softening? Choose what your body needs. Wherever you're at, rise back up, sit to the side, bring the legs around, and let's do one more round of that boat work, that firing up our core. Lift the shins, reach to the heels. Be careful of rounding. Pull your sternum to the sky. And again, use your hands if you need them behind you. Otherwise, take it out and pull it in. Go out and pull in. Take it one more time and then release. What I want you to do is grab your block. For this movement, you only need one, and you can take the block and use it on the narrow length of the block, and we're going to take it behind our back, right at the sacrum, the bony shelf above the tailbone. You can lay it flat and use your sacrum onto the flat part of the block, or you don't have to do anything. But I want you to come in bridge pose first and have the block close by. So as you lay back, you're going to lift your hips up. You're going to take this block and slide it underneath your sacrum. So right above your tailbone, not at your waistband. Keep your right knee bent and take your left shin into the body and either hold at the shin or hold at the hamstring. And then start to caterpillar walk your right foot straight out to where you're most comfortable. Stay here. Feel this stretch in the right hip flexor and play around. Do you need to point your toe? Do you need to push through your heel? Be mindful if you let your foot relax, do you really feel a stretch? Before coming out of this pose, I want you to bend the right knee, send that foot flat, then release the left foot down. Stay here. Make sure when you lift the right leg, you don't have to adjust the block, but if you need to, adjust it. And then hug the shin or the hamstring into the chest. When you're ready, take this left foot out and away from the body. Slowly slide the left heel back in so that knee is bent, and then release the right foot to the earth. Press your hips up to the sky to release the block and send your hips down to the mat. Take a little moment here to open your feet up to the width of the mat so your feet are as wide as your mat, and then I want you to roll your knees to the left, and then push your right hip towards your left knee and pull your right knee towards the bottom edge of your mat. Then take your arms and sweep them across your chest to the right side, and you can turn and look to the right. Inhale, come center, and then roll your knees to the right. Keep flexing your feet, then push your left hip to the right. Take your left knee and push it down towards the edge of your mat, and then float the arms across, and you can turn and look to your left hand. As you come back to center, draw the legs into the body. And again, if you need to roll to one side to come up, roll to one side. Otherwise, rock back up and turn to face the center of your mat. Bring the soles of the feet together for butterfly. Take your hands behind your back, row your sternum out of your pelvic floor. And then again, feel free to stay there or gently tip forward. As we rise up, I'm going to turn on a slight angle. I want you to bring your left knee up, lean back, cross your right ankle over the thigh. And you're either going to stay here, because this is as far as your cradle to baby is going to go, or you're going to hold on to your ankle and you can straighten this left leg out. And either stay here or take your elbows to your calf and your ankle, pull your heart to the sky. If you want to go deeper, wrap the elbow around the arch, but make sure you're not sickling, and that means letting the foot relax and it turns in. Flex your foot, keep that ankle supported, take the elbow around the knee, and then hug your elbows towards each other, firing up this stretch just a little bit more. When you release, take your right foot to your inner thigh for this Janu Shirshasana and turn your belly button to the knee. You can be aiming straight ahead. I just thought I'd be on an angle so you can see better. Inhale, rise up out of your hips and then hinge towards your thigh. It's not about being able to touch your foot. Remember, we're lengthening. Those of you that can reach past your foot, reach past your foot. If you want to grab the wrist, grab the wrist. Then slowly rise up. Again, bring the soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. Whether your feet are in close or far away is up to you. Some of us sometimes have to put blocks underneath our knees in order to allow our hips to release. So see what works for you. And again, put your fingertips behind your back, grow tall. If you need to stay right here, stay here. If you'd like to grab a hold of your ankles and hinge forward, again, pull your sternum away from your tailbone. Then slowly rise up. Take your right knee to the sky, and again, let me turn on an angle. And then as you lean back, cross your left ankle over the right thigh. And stay right here. You don't have to go any further. If you've got to move that foot out to get the leg to cross, whatever works for you. And then those of you that want to go deeper, feel free to go right there. Otherwise, I'll explain again. You can take your hands to your ankle and your calf, still pulling up tall. You can take your elbows to the leg or around the leg. Elbow around the arch, elbow around the knee, and then lift up nice and tall. It is cradle the baby, so if your hips are crying, just shh, 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 shh. Quiet the baby down. Tell your hips they'll be okay. They'll make it through. As we move into that Janu Shirshasana, head to knee pose, we release. Sometimes the name of the pose puts this pressure on us, and let that go. It's not about getting your head to the knee, but we do want to turn our belly button to the kneecap, stacking shoulders over hips. Reach up nice and tall, and then slowly hinge forward. Take a moment to release and rise up. And I want you to turn in either direction on your mat. You're going to relax. I have my Om symbols. I want you to relax back, take your Shavasana, and I'll bring you out of it with those Om symbols. So go ahead and turn in either direction on the mat. Let yourself lay all the way back. Allow the body to go heavy into the earth. Feel any stress or tension, just release off the body. If your thoughts are invading your relaxation time,
Just imagine each thought on a leaf, and it floats down a stream, giving you ease of mind. Gently begin to wiggle our fingers and toes if you'd like to bring movement into the body. Then extend the arms overhead for that reawakening stretch. And then draw the shins or hamstrings into the body for a nice big hug. Let this hug be of love and gratitude. Be grateful for your amazing body and for this time you took out of your day. And then slowly roll yourself to one side. If there's anything you need to let go of, take a nice big inhale and sigh it out. Gently press into the hands and rise up into easy seated. And just take a moment here if you'd like and bring the hands to the heart. Thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your practice with me. I appreciate all of you that joined me or will join me later today. Let's all smile and finish with Namaste. Om Shanti 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 Hi. Om peace, peace, peace to all of you. Have a great day and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.